So I got a Corvette, and you're looking at it scattered all over your garage right now. So let me kind of go over what's kind of going on right now. I'm kind of wanting to do. Okay, this is what I need to do to the car, right? I need to get the motor running. So anyway, so yeah, ugh. So I had a head gasket start leaking on me. It wasn't too bad, but I got it home. There were other underlying issues in the motor that I did not know about before. This is probably something that's been that had gone on a long time ago. The car never really gave me too much fuss as far as running and stuff. Basically, this shows you how forgiving the small block Chevy engines are, and by that I mean, cylinder 1 was my leak. Okay, I have what may be a crack in this cylinder, so we're gonna get the thing to the machine shop and see what they think. Now, it might not be anything; it might be something. Who knows? But the fact remains, at this point in time, I don't know about the block. The block is I'm unsure about what I want to do with the block. That being said, I've been trying to, for the life of me, get an LT1 lower end. If I have to get a complete motor or whatever, that's just how it's going to be. I've found a couple of them locally, but Facebook Marketplace is just unbelievable to deal with. I mean, there's several of these things on Marketplace, but nobody has time to sell them. It's like, why do you even put them up? If you don't have time to sell them. The problem is I've got the money to buy them. I just can't because nobody's got time. So anyway, that's frustrating. But regardless, so I'm at the point right now where I'm about to pop the freeze plugs out of the motor, and I'm about ready to do some final touch-ups before I take and send the motor to a machine shop and have it cleaned up. So right off the bat, my first order of business, I really want to refrain from decking the head or decking the surface here. I measured out my heads, and they, believe it or not, they're not warped real bad. The driver's side one, it does have a little bit of warp. Actually, right in the middle, it seems like there's a warp right there, just a little bit. You can't get the feeler gauge in it, but you can feel it. You can see a little bit of light, but you can't get. It's within tolerance. But regardless, I'm still gonna take them and have them surface it. That way, I got a good mating surface on that head. Both of the heads, I'm gonna have them surface them, basically, so I can clean them up, maybe do a valve job on them. But anyway, that being said, on the block, since this is the original block to the car, I want to preserve the serial numbers on the motors, flat surfaces. So in order to do that, we can't be decking the block. Now, if it comes out that the machine shop really can't do anything with this surface and really feels like, hey, we need to think about decking the block, then I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But for now, measuring, it doesn't really seem to be that bad. It seems pretty straight. But my big concern is with cylinder 1, and I have that feature. It's basically about that far in. It's a little line in the cylinder. You can kind of see it right there, right above my finger. You can kind of see it there. I did put a hone through these just to see if I can't dress them up. As we go back in the cylinders here, we see that there is some scoring. And on the other side, they're scoring all the way up and down the cylinders there. Now, I understand that, it isn't up here where, the compression is, but at the same time, when it's going down and up, you're running the risk of dragging oil up and through the rings, right? So we're scouring the rings. So I don't want to do that. So where did the debris come from that caused that? Well, my suspicion is cylinder number 7. So this is intake and exhaust. This one would be, this one's exhaust, this one's intake. Yeah, that should be right. So anyway, they look both pretty similar. Is what it is. I mean, there's nothing I can do about that, right? So now I'm in a cam. So I got to get a cam. So I'm really suspicious of how cylinder 7, the rod looks. I'm not entirely positive. But anyway, the crankshaft's good. That's the only thing really on the motor that really hasn't gotten trashed was the I mean, I don't really consider this trash. I've seen really bad stuff. But, it is what it is. So my thought process here is taking it to a machine shop. I'm going to see what they think about it. I mean, these are pretty deep gouges. I mean, they're not really deep, but you can probably bore it, 20, 30 over, and it's probably going to be all right. So that gives me options, right? So if I do 30 over, then I'm now displacing 355 cubic inches rather than 350. So I'm increasing my displacement by 5 inches, by 5 cubic inches, right? So, look at that one there. Bam, that's a deep one. So here's the thing. I mean, at what I was quoted, it's $100. If I'm hearing the guys right, the going rate around me is $100 a cylinder to sleeve. And so if I have to sleeve cylinder 1, I'm going to end up doing that. But if it's any more than that, I'm not really sure what I want to do with it. So, I mean, honestly, at this point, the survival of this block depends on cylinder 1 needing to be needing to be sleeved. So if the cylinder does need to be sleeved, then I will do that, but I'll bore it out to 30 over. All right. So, it's already not going to be the original size. Okay. So, it is what it is. I wasn't expecting something different. So, I'm not surprised by these findings. I was fully expecting to see a milkshake when I got home, which I didn't. There was no milkshake. All the bearings actually looked pretty okay. There was a hint of an oiling issue on some of the rod bearings. The crank looked great. So what I'm going to end up doing, obviously the oil pump probably was starting to go out in the car, or it had gone out in the car at one point and they changed it, or something was going on and they changed it. But I hadn't had any noticeable oiling issues. I've never seen any metal shavings in the oil pan. Even with the oil pan off, there was not metal shavings in there. Definitely no evidence of this was going on when I pulled the pan off. I really am very curious to see what was going on or when this actually happened. But I will say that not all of the rockers are original. The valve rockers. So maybe something happened. I know that there was a recall, but anyway, the 2 lifters back here actually were galled, in accordance to what we saw here. But it is what it is. But anyway, this camshaft, let's see here. On this one here, I have a number of 142 GMPT 16 or BC 16. So 142 GMPT BC16. So that's the number that's on the camshaft. I can, okay, here's where I'm at right now. Assuming I don't get an LT1 block that's in good shape, that I can just, pop in original parts and everything and get the thing rebuilt how it was from the factory. I'm not really too concerned about horsepower. I'm more concerned about longevity of the motor. But where I'm at right now is, now I don't want a choppy cam. I don't want anything like that. I'd rather the car sound like a touring car than something that is like a hot rod, right? So I want high revs. I honestly know that it's a Chevy small block, so you're not gonna get like perfect, you're not gonna sound like a Formula One Indy car here. So I know what I'm doing here. So and I know what I'm going to reasonably expect out of it. I want a smooth idle. I want it to run good. I don't want it to. I'm willing to sacrifice a smooth idle to have it a little bit rocky in the lower end, to have a really nice smooth sound. I'm not. Basically, at the end of the day, I'm thinking 350 horsepower. Or, I'm sorry, if the car was producing around 345, 350 horsepower originally, I'd like to do 100 more. Okay. Now, keep in mind, I have the LT4 heads. I'm resurfacing them, so I'm gonna fix them. So those heads will be fine. Those heads will be fine. Unfortunately, a lot of people that used to do work on these things no longer does work on them because they're more in the LS stuff, and that's unfortunate. Or they're dead, one of the two. And then forum posts that you find on modifying these cars or modifying these motors are pretty lacking when it comes to the Corvette side, but they're pretty decent when they come to the Camaro Firebird side, right? So I've been kind of hanging out in those forums a little bit more. So I know that there's a few differences with things, but so the LT4, right? In its stock form, different parts that would be different on the LT4 versus the LT1. You have a roller timing chain. That's one major one there. So you got your roller timing chain. And then you've got a special cam. The heads are different, and the intake is different, okay? Now, another thing that is different, the injectors are different for the LT4 versus they flow higher than the LT1. So if you get an LT1 and or an LT4 and you want to replace them with LT1 fuel injectors, you're going to have a problem there when you're trying to find fuel injectors. You can go to Fuel Injector Connection like I did and get some decent ones. But anyway, I digress. So that covers all of the unique parts, right? The crankshaft is technically unique, but it's not so unique that you can't replicate it using another small block Chevy crankshaft. Now, another thing, something that I was told in forums and elsewhere was the pistons, the rotating assembly was the same. Now, I'm not sure if this was like batch weighed or whatever, stuff like that. That way they can put things together, but I found this very interesting. LT4 is cast into the piston on all 8 of the cylinders. I thought that was pretty neat. Now, this camshaft number, I tried looking it up. I could not find this number. I've tried different variations of the way that the number is put in, and it wasn't until I searched for a while that I found another one that was machined like this. I've not come across many camshafts that that look like this. I mean, it's rather interesting. It's a lot of work to get a camshaft to look like that, and it's a lot of time on the machine, right? Usually they're cast, and they don't machine them out of a billet, so that's very interesting to see that. Maybe somebody in the comment section can fill me in on what's going on with that. But anyway, I couldn't find the number corresponding with any Grand Sport LT4 applications. So I don't know if this is actually the factory cam or the factory cam. It's a GM part number, clearly, but I can't find any information about it. So maybe somebody in the comment section can help me out there. Maybe it's right in front of me and I just have been overlooking it, but there's a lot of stuff about these things on forums that is 2008 and older, and it's pretty hard to sort through a lot of that stuff. So ultimately, what am I going to do? Well, I'm not going to keep the car just sitting here doing what it's doing, right? I am going to have the car back on the road. I'm going to have it back on the road before I have this motor running. My thought process currently is to get the heads fixed, get the heads worked out, and I'm going to get an LT1, and I'm going to put the LT1 cam, the hot cam in it, the LT4 hot cam in it, and then put my LT4 stuff on the top of the LT1. Then with this, I'm really contemplating doing a 383. I would like 450 horsepower. I'm not at all. Okay, let's put it this way. If I do a 383, see, my hang up right now is I do a lot of interstate driving. Okay, that doesn't mean that I don't want something that's got some kick, right? I want to be able to. I want more performance out of the motor. Okay, I'm going to be doing some suspension upgrades and some suspension work. You don't really have to do much in order to make this car a very versatile road machine, right? So basically what I'm doing here is I am trying to figure out whether I want to do a stock-ish rebuild. So if I'm in a position where I have to do a 30 over or a 20 over or a 30 over bore over, then I'm not stock, so I have to get new pistons anyway. Let's say I have to deck the motor. Let's say I have to deck the motor, right? If I've got to deck the motor or I have to deck the block or whatever, and I got to do a lot of work to this engine, I'm probably just going to put it on the shelf, and I'll use an LT1 as the base for it, and then just build it up from there. My current desire to see at this point, pistons, I can't reuse the pistons. I can reuse the rods. The rods and the crank are the only thing that's surviving from the motor, basically. The camshaft, I know that some people can repair these things. I might look into that, see if I can't get the camshaft repaired. But at the same time, I'm looking at the wear on it, and it's, I don't know. I'm probably just going to get a new cam anyway. That being said, I might stick with the rods. I might stick with the crank, but by the time I get done getting the work done to the crank and balancing the rods and the new pistons, I might just as well just get another rotating assembly that's already balanced, that's already ready to go, that all I got to do is balance my flywheel and get it put on. And because, I'm not putting my original flywheel on either. So we've got that situation that we've got to worry about. I'm not putting my original flywheel back on because the original one looks pretty rough. I don't know many people that, you got to take a lot off the surface of that thing to get it it's pretty rough. So anyway, that being said, so 30 over potentially in order to clean up the cylinders, potentially a sleeve. So I'm sitting here thinking about the money that I'm going to be putting into this thing. I've already found blocks that are $300-400 that have already been machined, that are ready to go. But then there again, this is the original motor for the car, so I'm kind of hung up on that. So, I mean, it's, fortunately, this isn't an LS1, or any LS series motor, because those are pretty much going for hotcakes around here. But a lot of the LT series motors are pretty cheap around me. But unfortunately, if it come out of a Corvette, just because it's got 4-bolt mains, people seem to think that they want $3,000, $4,000, or $5,000 for the motor. And it's like, I've got one dude that I messaged about a motor. He wanted $1,000 for something that he has not even been able to start. So there's some crazy prices out there. And, people are like, oh, well, you can get like $500 for the heads. Yeah, okay, I'm not seeing it. I'm seeing ads that have been on Facebook for years, months, years, weeks. I'm seeing eBay listings not being sold. And realistically speaking, I'm sitting here looking at this from a pricing perspective. And when I was at Carlisle, I actually went to a booth, which I got laughed at and mocked by the owner of the business for having the audacity to want to buy an LT4 off of him and put it in a Corvette. Ironically enough, I'm in the market, and ironically enough, I'm not going to be buying one from him, so he can go pound sand. If you're going to treat me like a dick, I'm going to not give you any of my business. But anyway, that being said, apples to apples, I already found a used LT4, so I'm in like Flint if I really want to push the button and go for it that way. But anyway, at the end of the day, the more I have peeled this motor apart, the more I'm like, you know what? Even if I can't get LT4 heads readily anymore, I'm still really sour about that. But anyway, even if, because I want, I'm not even going to get into it. Anyway, even if you can't get brand new LT4 heads readily, I'm like, okay, I want to buy LT4 heads, just set them up on the shelf in case I need them one day. Well, I may need them one day, right? So, all you're doing is slapping parts on, right? So, even though you can't find the LT4 heads specifically, AFR sells a pretty comparable head to the LT4, the original LT4. And then Edelbrock sells an LT4 intake, so you can copy the look of the LT4. And from my understanding, the LT1 intake isn't really that much dramatically different than the LT4 motor. Realistically speaking, a copyable crank, a camshaft, which most people are going to change out anyway, a roller timing chain, some pistons that are basically, generic GM pistons. There's really no difference between this and an LT1. We got 30 horsepower. Oh, okay, good. Okay, meh. At the end of the day, if you're in the market to get a LT4, if you're doing any sort of pulling the heads off of a junkyard motor, you have already exceeded the price of just getting your LT1 and building it up as an LT4 clone. It's just not worth it. But anyway, that being said, that's kind of where I'm at with it. I'm not sure if I want to go factory fresh, or if I want to do like a 383 stroker, or what cam I want. Because really, ultimately, I'm going to be basing all of my work off of the cam. I still want high revs. I want to be able to be similar to what the factory specifications are for the rev limits on this motor. I want it to be diesel duty. I want to be able to, honestly, it's only got I'm just shy of 130,000 miles. I would really like to make it more than 130,000 miles before I have to touch the motor again. Now, that being said, I'm at the point now where I'm just going to collect a stash of parts. That way, You know, I'm able to keep the car on the road, and I don't have to deal with douchebag business owners who are too good to sell an LT4 to a guy who actually now needs an LT4. You know, if my money, my cash in pocket at the time money isn't good enough for you, you know, I'd rather stock up the parts and not have to worry about dealing with those people than have to do it. And, you know, it just irritates me. But anyway, at this point, I'm just looking up stuff for LT1s. It's just way easier to find any sort of information as far as modification and everything. Because let's face it, at the end of the day, let's say I don't use the original heads, right? If I don't use the original heads, that's not saying I'm going to sell them. That's saying I'm going to put them on the shelf, and we're going to be visiting that on maybe an LT1 later. Who knows? Might get them ported. Might port them myself. Who knows, right? It's been a while since I ported small block engine heads, and yeah. But anyway, before I put the motor together, I'm going to be doing some of this stuff where you basically take the casting lines off of things, smooth out edges where the oil galleries go in. I'm really going to do some work on this thing and really get it top notch. And my thought process on this was a stroker motor is not that much more work, right? At this point, a stroker motor is not that much more work. So I'm still looking into like the longevity of a 383 over the standard 350. From my understanding, it's just going to be negligible. I've seen people commenting on their builds where they are still able to keep up their rev limit, you know, and they can rev up to about 6,500, no problem. And I really want to get into that area where the car is capable. I really want to make this car worthwhile. Okay. I mean, the car is worthwhile as it is, right? But at the end of the day, I'm pulling the motor apart. I may as well throw something at it. Make this whole process feel like it's more worth my time. So if I end up with 100 extra horsepower, then I can do that. So I am doing long tube headers. So that is something that is happening. We're doing long tube headers. Doing long tube headers. I'm not sure what cam I'm going to use. I'm probably going to port, and I'm probably going to do like 58 millimeter. I don't know. I'm going to upgrade the throttle body. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Right now, I'm just trying to figure out what all is going to go in the sauce, right? At this point, the rotating assembly is not set in stone, but I do know I'm going to be getting oversized pistons. I can use my crank, so then I'd be in it rods, pistons, because I'm not sure I'm going to be, I'm going to at least need one. I know 7's probably messed up, but that being said, well, guys, so I got a Corvette. You're looking at it, and with any luck, she'll be back on the road in about, let's shoot for 6 months. Let's see if we can't get her back on the road in 6 months. I could probably get her back on the road sooner than that. I will get her back on the road sooner than that if I can get on LT1. If somebody online has an LT1 that I can grab. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next video. It might seem like I'm a little disappointed and depressed about this stuff in this video. I sort of am, but it's not about the project ahead of me. It's more the people that I've had to deal with in this process. It's rather tiring dealing with some of the people, just because people are just awful to deal with. You have a question, you have a serious question, but as a home builder in my area, I guess, a lot of machine shops aren't really interested in quoting you prices unless they're doing a whole build on an engine, or I get on the phone with somebody and they're like, well, I'd have to farm that out. I'm like, no, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to have the do everything, right? So it is what it is. Anyway, guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Until then, share your comments in the comment section below. Yeah. Have a good one, guys.